Hey guys, Stealth here. In this replay we're watching Dealman and Mei Weifu on the new map Death Row. Now, the replay that he sent in got a very interesting description. He said it's probably not the most entertaining replay to watch, but it was a lot of fun for us when these two decks we made actually worked. We were kind of shocked. Basically, we set out on a mission to create two absolutely absurd decks which relied entirely on sheer numbers. We managed to hold the enemy at bay and also slowly but steadily push them back. The most amazing thing about this replay though is that the fact that we were going to lose due to the time limit, and somehow they're going to turn this around. Now, one of the first things that is very interesting to me is that on Death Row you got this town in the middle, which is an infantry death grinder. You're going to start seeing a lot of infantry on infantry warfare. So the last thing you would do is bring tanks. Watch this. What the actual fuck? How many tanks are this even? 4, 8, 12, 15, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. Okay, this could be an interesting replay. Similarly, we got Dealman over here on the left, deploying no less than 20, 40 Ontos. Well, if that doesn't kill anything, I don't know what will. Here comes the AA infantry, a lot of infantry by Mei Weifu. A lot of M41A1 recon is being deployed. I have no idea how this is going to end. 8 AMX-30 Rolands. These guys must have had a lot of points. Considering that there is no total destruction limit, or that there's no limit on the points, I think it's total destruction. And judging by the amount of points that they're throwing down, it might also be a game where you start out with either 2,000 or 1,500 points. Bloody hell, this is going to be one traffic jam. Look at all these vehicles. The problem with some of these vehicles is that they don't really have enough fuel. But they will have enough fuel to reach the front line. But all of these vehicles, what they're doing, as mentioned, is by sheer amount of vehicles. I mean, let's say you have an infantry group. You have, what's the normal rate? You have, let's say, 6 units of infantry here. At best, and that's the ultimate best, they only carry 60 missiles or 60 rounds of anti-tank ammunition. And then you see this coming at you. Yeah. It just keeps on coming. This is only one wave. This is the other wave. What the hell is going on? I'm wondering if they see what's going on. Yep. Oh my god, look at that. Somebody bring a cluster bomber. IL-102, best unit in order to deal with this. Smirch, not a problem. Fire at will. So they start to take heavy fire. They start to take a lot of losses from rocket pods fired from these Sokals. 310 points they have already scored though, just by sheer amount of numbers and firepower. These T-72s over here have their work cut out for them. And unfortunately, their tanks aren't even in range yet. These ACAVs, 551s, have a range of 1925, M41s, range of 1750, 8 armor penetration, if they hit at all. If you want to kill something with 8 armor penetration, you're going to have to be right up in his face. Commandosis, yeah, the Commandosis don't really stand a chance against combined firepower of... I'm not even going to count that, but it's up in the 20s or 30s. You gotta have some fun with Wargame every now and then. SU-25Ts coming in. They could just let these things circle. If not for the fact that there's a bunch of red eyes, and I believe also a bunch of Rolands, but the Rolands are slightly too far behind to actually be useful here. They are slightly getting into range, finally. Managed to kill off the recon. Come on, Mei Weifu. If you want to push in and kill these tanks, you're going to have to do it right about now. Red Force now pushing back, 870 points versus 745. These VDV carry 12 missiles per group of 2. So they're not gonna be able to kill all of these vehicles. Ontos are firing from all barrels. High rate of fire. Recoilless rifle fire. Not good for the VDV. I'm wondering to see what Red 4 is going to bring in against this. Here come the bombers. These are just standard HE bombers, but they're probably going to still be very, very effective against stuff that has no armor. That hurt them. More aircraft? Just air superiority fighters. Su-25T, wiping out whatever it can see. Getting shot at immediately by infrared AA. What are they actually bringing? Nothing. They got BTR-80s. Their Akulas are all empty, so they're sending these back. Su-25T comes out again. Sokols are going back to rearm. I gotta say, like these guys mentioned, I'm surprised that this actually works. Totally ridiculous decks. These T-72s might start to run out of ammo. Unfortunately, these M41s are out of fuel, so they cannot actually get close enough to do any damage. These two are trying to do what they can. They seem to be shooting at this tank, which is, well, it's down to 2 hit points. They just traded about 40 tanks for that. And that's only the first wave. The next wave's coming in. A bunch of Ontos, M41A1. You can see the next pain train coming this way. It is costing them a lot of points though. 2,400, now 2,510 points has been scored by Red 4. They only have half that. Bunch of Fusiliers 90s coming in. Finally something that's a bit more, let's say, likely to kill enemy infantry. Bunch of Ontos coming in. A whole bunch of Nabisky Buretti here. 18 rounds on these guys. And again, they're trying to do whatever they can with the Ontos. Not really working out. Doing as much damage as possible. But these guys are pretty heavily entrenched. Look at the rate of fire of these things. Are they all dead? No, we still got one survivor. Machine gun. All his rifles fired. Fired again. Fire. Fire. Just keep that up all day long. So, what does this look like if you go through this town? Just tanks everywhere. Chaffee after chaffee after chaffee. Now, these weren't bad tanks in World War II. We don't want to throw these things up against T-72s or infantry with high-end anti-tank weaponry and see what happens. Yeah, it's just like a mother duck with a whole bunch of ducklings behind it. If you were looking for a serious replay today, sorry, not gonna happen. Still, I hope you're laughing behind your keyboard because I'm definitely having fun with this. Next wave, M41A1s. These at least have some possibility of getting towards the front line, but with 200 km autonomy, they're gonna run out of fuel right about now. BTR-80s. Oh look, you killed something. Another bunch of M41A1s. A whole bunch of VDV. But come on, VDV against this many tanks? You don't even really have to hit anything. They're just gonna start running scared. BMD's getting destroyed. Whenever I see this wrench icon or the fuel icon, I'm going, oh shit, I need to repair this thing. Let's face it, it's a 10-point vehicle. You're not going to repair that. Even Spetsnaz with their RPO Rice can be pretty deadly against vehicles that have virtually no armor on them. 2 armor on the front and 1 on the side. I have seen armored fighting vehicles that have more armor than these guys. Now here come the Akulas again. I think that Red 4 should have been bringing in cheaper helicopters. Because an Akula is a pretty damn decent helicopter. At least until they nerfed it. Let's see how fast these things fire. Whoa, those missiles are fast. Speed on the missiles themselves is very high. Anyway, these Akulas are good helicopters for dealing with heavy battle tanks. You're firing very, very expensive missiles at targets which barely deserve a missile. If they would have brought in helicopters which just have rocket pods, and I'm talking the Mi-4, or the Mi-4A it might be, those with the large amount of rocket pods and nothing else, then they would have killed a lot more tanks at a lot less expense. Because Nakula is, I believe, 150. Let's say you could get almost 4 of those Mi-4s for that, you could have wiped out this entire town. Now there seems to be a bit of a quiet in the fighting, but this replay still has about 30 minutes on it. Heavy bombing run, a lot of tanks get wiped out there. SU-25T. Just imagine that the roles were reversed and you'd have blue for aircraft. F-111 anyone? F-111C? I would probably also send in 2 Thunderbolts if I have them available. Stuff like that, really, really ideal to deal with this kind of threats. SU-70, ooh, that was a lot of AA that went into him. 4 Rolands and 8 Red Eyes just fired all at the same time at that aircraft. Now Red 4 at this point seems to be winning quite badly. 3,000 points versus 2,000. So why isn't Blue 4 doing anything? A bunch of stalwarts are being brought in. They may be saving up for another major offensive. And I gotta say, somehow they have managed to push Red 4 out of this town. Even with all those inferior units that they're using. How do you do that? Just sheer numbers, I suppose. A couple of tanks are coming in. Wilks are pretty damn decent, but even cheaper tanks would be really effective, so long as they have more armor than the 8 armor penetration that these guys have, or the 13 armor penetration that the M1s have. Finally we're starting to see some more decent tanks. M1s coming in. What's behind here? M41A1. No less than 14 of those tanks are being brought in. Now I think that Dealman may be saving up for another offensive, because he just currently doesn't have anything. Yep, I'm assuming a big spawn blob here. Bloody hell. IKV 103s. Fire support units, I believe Swedish design. Bunch of 1390s as recon. These things have pretty good accuracy. Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm confusing them with the IKV 105. The IKV 103s are terrible. The IKV 103s are really terrible. 20% accuracy, 7 armor penetration. Virtually no range on those things and no armor. Because let's face it, these things, they're just assault guns. Leftovers from World War II. 1953 design. So yeah, you're gonna have to go in strength and numbers with these boys, unless you're gonna get right up close, in which case you might be able to do some damage. The only thing they got going for them is that they fire heat, which means that even at their maximum range, if they hit, and let me rephrase, that's not very likely, if they hit, they're always going to do 1 point of damage. So they, between the let's say 20 of them, they could actually kill a T-80U, a T-72BU, or a T-90 if they wanted to, and if they hit. Anyway, Red 4 really doesn't have to do that much, except just nail point after point after point. You can see they're pushing up again. A whole bunch of tanks. KM-113 transports. Now finally some M1As, or some M1s are fighting here. Duking it out against T-72 M2 Wilks. Now we're finally giving these guys a run for their money. Because hiding a few of these tanks behind, let's say, the meat shield of the M41s can work really nicely. Let me guess, the Akulas are back. No, not actually the Akulas. These must be the Sokols. Another Wilk comes in. These Abrams are in a bit of trouble here. They don't even seem to have a good line of sight or a good shot at the T-72 currently. Getting destroyed. And meanwhile, some VDV have managed to push back the Red Eyes, so far as the Red Eyes have survived. Fusiliers are now starting to engage them. It's going to be a tight battle. I think the VDV are going to win this. The VDV are calm, more heavily trained, and the Fusiliers are panicked and pretty poorly trained. Just look at that, the big blob on the map. It seems that they're refueling them right away, because these things have already spent half their fuel amount even getting to halfway through. Correction, not even halfway through the map. They're pretty much 1/3 way through. And they're already running out of fuel. Oh, nice kill on the SU-25 there. Did you get the other one? No, they did not get the... Oh! No, they did not get the other one. They damaged it though. So Red 4 is really only holding at 1200 points more than Blue 4. Which I think Blue 4 can still come back from. Jesus. You may call it cheesy, you may call it insane, but I think it's rather funny. Because, let's face it, in normal, serious wargame matches, you never see this. Here comes the mortars. 8 mortars. What do we have here? 16, 18, 22 mortars? Make that 26? What the hell? Look at all that. Heard you like a mortar, so we put a mortar right next to your mortar. And then some. I can't wait for this group to fire up. What we're looking at, by the way, the deck, if you're not recognizing it, is a Blue 4 armored. So it doesn't have any kind of specific nation. Oh, they're donating supply trucks now. It doesn't have any specific nation. They just got whatever cheap units they can find. And I believe that the deck will probably have fleshed out all of the activation points with cheap units. So we're talking hundreds of tanks. Hundreds. Here we go. T-72s. Now they actually have a pretty good accuracy at this range. And, as I predicted, they're starting to damage the T-72s. Rather quickly, too. Through sheer firepower. If, however, a bomber would come in, they would blow up the entire group. Look at that, even a BTR-80 can do damage to these vehicles with a heavy machine gun. What can Red 4 see? Red 4 can see a big wave of vehicles coming in. What's Red 4 doing? They already drained their fob. I'm not surprised. They only have one. They got a Bertino. And they're trying to constantly fill up Akulas. Normally that would not be a bad idea. Except right now, the Akula again is a very, very expensive helicopter to use in this situation. Look at that, they killed off another T-72. Don't tell me they're running out of fuel again. Well, it's not far off. 300 points of fuel left. Oh, this is gonna hurt. Oh. They just plowed through a whole bunch of units. So how many vehicles are we talking? Let's say that these were full groups. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16... 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, and then some chieftains. So let's say that they're pushing with 56 tanks, and they're not really doing too well. They're trying to get into range. T-80U is having none of that. Look at that. T-80U took a lot of damage from this entire array of units firing at them. And as I mentioned, if you have an accuracy of 20%, you're not that likely to hit anything. Unless you make up for that lack of accuracy in sheer numbers. So here's a question for you guys. How would you counter this if your enemy was using these numbers? What would you do? Would you go in with heavy bombers? Would you go in with helicopters? Would you go in with heavy tanks, medium tanks, light tanks maybe? What would you do to counter this? Bloody hell, here comes the mortar battery. Oh, helicopters. Hadn't seen those yet. It's a good thing that Blue 4 hasn't discovered the use of combined arms before. It seems like they're only now pushing in with helicopters after the rest of their vehicles may have been killed off. The Kulas are now coming to do their job with the Igla Vs. Those Halos are not going to go very far. Oh, they found the CV. Look at that. CV is moving, they put an attack marker on it, they know where it is now. Look at that! What are you even firing at? T-80U. T-80U, not really impressed, but it is losing hit points. Completely stunned. I'm surprised they haven't tracked it yet. So, even if you fire somewhere in the range of 32 mortars at a T-80U, you're not going to kill it. K-52s. K-52 is out of AA missiles, so are these guys. They're also out of ground range missiles. But that gun can still kill most of the vehicles down there. Oh, they seem to be doing a side incursion here. VDV and Spetsnaz. Pretty clever. It's going to cost them quite the amount of units here. Still though, they are winning by 3,000 points almost. Su-24 comes in. Probably goes for the mortars. Didn't hit anything. Just imagine having to resupply all of that. Oh, oops. Pushed right into some... pushed right into some artillery. Some AA gun. And a tank. Nope, having none of that. Stunned it, panicked it, got away. And it's out of ammo. Although even the machine gun might be able to do damage against these guys, since they're... well, they only have one armor. I think they're going to be fine. Oh, look, actual tanks. Or at least STRV-103Cs. I would consider these pretty decent. These at least have quite the amount of firepower, and they have a lot of rate of fire, especially if you combine 8 of these bastards. It's like these guys are firing the T-80Us, and the mortars go, you what, mate? And just return fire with 32 mortars. If there are still 32 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, but still 32 mortars. Sorry, 24 mortars. Where did the other ones go? They may have lost some of them here and there. Still 24 mortars. That's about 20 more. That's about 20 more than I usually use. Okay, 52 and the Kulas were holding still steady there. And mortars got spotted, or mortars spotted them, and they went, nope. Insane, look. Yep, they saw that. What can they see? They're now winning by a solid 3,000 points. So they only got 7 minutes left to kill about 3,000 points. Can they do it? What other units are being brought in? These things are all out of fuel. Still got some M1s back there. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. 103C's pushing up. T-80Us, T-72 Wilk. A bunch of Strelas. If they can just keep pushing, they might even reach Foxtrot. Now, unfortunately, these things don't have a stabilizer, so you're gonna have to put them still in order to fire. You're here we go. 91%. Hits on the T-80U. It's going to be a while before they go through that, though. Weapons jammed. That's a good thing. Until the SU-25T came in and ruined the party. There's the UAZ again. But those mortars still work. I got a whole bunch of 1390s here. Again, units that may look inconspicuous on their own, but at least these guys have 40% accuracy. A range that's not that good, but they also fire heat rounds and they have a high rate of fire. So these, again, could do a lot of damage to heavy tanks. They're also flanking with a bunch of FV-432s, but I really doubt they're going to get there, because they seem to be running out of fuel pretty quickly. Here come the Akulas again. Completely out of missile fire, or out of missiles, so they really only got their main gun. What the hell happened? Oh, incursion! Mustard Tiger decided to flank these guys and killed off the CV. Oh, this could be an interesting problem for them. They're pushing in with 1390s. Trying to hit the T-80U, and they got it. T-72 taking fire, T-55 taking fire. He's down. Unfortunately, they're not the most accurate tanks you've ever seen. Optical failure, he's going to stop firing. What are you guys even firing at? I think they got it. Killed off an AA gun. What are you going to do about this situation, though? If anything. Because they got no AA here, except for missile, infrared AA missiles from infantry. It's not really easy to push back. T-72, oh, the TU has survived. I thought they would have been able to get that. Did they kill the CV? That looks like. You can see it sitting here in the middle of the barrage. One dead UAZ. Mi-24 whiskey being brought in. What they're slowly but steadily doing is depriving Red 4 of any and all kinds of income. Red 4 is very, very slowly drip feeding points now. Of course, they don't really have to do anything because they got 2 minutes left and they're sitting at a victory of well over 3,000 points, 3,300 even. It's going to have to be double or nothing for Blue 4. Where are those helos? Yep, they managed to get the fob and they're being rearmed there. So, double or nothing, guys. Push through. Try to get the CV in Foxtrot, and you may win this. Looks like the CV in Fox was going to move. 2 minutes, can they do it? Still some missile fire coming in. Oh, it looks like Red 4 is not sitting still, and they managed to kill the CV in Bravo as well. They find the CV in Alpha. It's GG for Blue 4. Similarly, if Blue 4 can find the CV in Foxtrot, it's GG for Red 4. And one pushing in. 60 seconds left on the clock. Here come the Akulas. They might be out of every... Ooh, mortar fire. Look at that. Not a chance. We got some elite M1s. Wow. These guys must have killed either some heavy tanks, or they got these guys in at the highest veterancy level. Stunning the T-80UM. M1 getting a good side shot there. Looks like a kill by the Chieftain Mark 10. Mi-24 Whiskey is hammering on these tanks, but not really doing too much damage. M1s are now returning fire. Buratino seems to be firing his last couple of salvos. Ammo box is hit, tail rotor damaged. It's just machine gun fire, but it is rather effective. We're also dealing with an autocannon over on their left. 1 second left. They got it! What the hell? They got the kill on the CV in the last possible second. The game was going to last for 40 minutes, 39 minutes and 59 seconds, and they got the kill. Oh god. Look at the amount of losses that these guys took. Mei Weifu actually made positive by 10 points. Dealman lost 1,300 points, but they still managed to win because they killed the last command vehicle. Gotta say, this was one of the weirdest wargame victories that I've seen in a long time. Let me know what your opinion on it is. I thought it was hilarious to watch all of those units, and I was rather surprised at how well they did. But maybe your opinion is completely different and you think that this game sucks and that you should never ever play like this. I think it's a nice and refreshing way to play wargame. Just have fun every once in a while. And you gotta say, it worked out better than I'd expected. But let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll see those in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, hope it was a bit of entertainment, and I'll see you next time with a more serious wargame video.